Howdy, everybody, and welcome to AI Literacy Week. We are super excited to be with y'all. Oh, Lauren, you already understood the assignment. I see some people in the chat just talking about, yeah, Lisa, greetings from Massachusetts. I see Remy in there. And I've brought along a really good friend of mine, Brittany from Class Companion, to talk all about AI literacy, and we're super excited to give you resources that you can use with your students, but also you as yourself or spread along with for other teachers, different resources to get you all geared up for AI Literacy Week. So, Brittany, thank you so much for being with us. I see Remy. He said that he actually uses Class Companion right now as we speak. Like that's what we call a Yeehaw moment. So, super excited for you to be here with us. Tell everybody howdy.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Thank you for that introduction, Faubs. I appreciate it. My name's Brittany. I'm from Class Companion, and I'm super excited to be chatting about AI literacy with you guys today.
And I feel like, Brittany, you and I were on an app smash a while back. And so that was really exciting for me to see how we app smash Class Companion and Book Creator. And now to be here with you today, just talking all about AI literacy. So I'm going to bring this up on the stage where this is a great resource all about AI Literacy Week. And we're going to start this off by giving you guys a student resource to really dive deep into AI literacy with your students. And as I scroll down, you're going to see this book called What is AI? Created by this farmer, and so we're going to dive into this. We're going to be talking about this. But y'all, before I do that, I want to really show you how to take this book and use it with your students. And then we're going to dive into it. So if you see this book, we're going to be giving it to you guys in our resources. But what I love about Book Creator is that you can come in here and you can see this nice little remix button where you can click here and you can add it to a library. And that's a really nice way to just add it, copy to a library, and then you can go to that library and have it right there. And this is just it's ready made just for y'all. And so as this loads, you can come in here and you can assign it to your students. This is a make and take. You can add students to your library. So I always like to really show you guys how to take this. You can go to your three dots, click share, click assign, and click start assignment, and give your kids that code and get into the library and have that where they get into this book. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this book, Brittany. Before I get started, Brittany, I'm going to ask you the question, what is AI?
AI is artificial intelligence. But if we're talking about AI literacy, it's the ability to understand, evaluate, and actually use it in an informed and responsible way.
Ooh, I don't think that anything could get better than that. Like that was top notch. And so with this book, I think, Brittany and I, we've grown up probably about the same time. And I feel like, we've been using AI, probably in ways that we might not have known that we were using AI. So it kind of takes me back. But I love this KWO. It's like, what do you know about AI? What do I want to know about AI? But examples of how, you've been using AI. And for me, I'm gonna go back in time, right? There used to be MySpace. There used to be Facebook. I was into Snapchat. But was I using AI way back then? What about you?
It's a really good question. I mean, if you think about it, AI has been happening in algorithms for as long as all of these social media has been around, but we never
Yep.
recognized it as such. And I think that's so important when we're getting into what is AI with students so that they recognize how the world already uses AI without it being another chatbot. So I really like that.
100%. Yeah, and you know what? My grandma at 92, she's using AI. She logs on to Facebook and she's like, "How did they know that I was searching this?" And I said, "Grandma, that's AI. You've been using AI." And so y'all, we've been using AI for a while, but this page is a great way to have students add how they've been using AI because they've been using it, and it's a great conversational piece. And then what y'all can do is you can come into this common sense video and you can really have them think about how they've been using AI.
You've probably heard a lot about AI.
And so this is a great resource to just really get, diving in. And then on here on the left, I think this is a really good stopping point to really have these conversations about, what is AI, but then what is generative AI? And I think, it's very different. And I think we need to understand what's different and what's unique in their own ways. And so we give you guys the definitions of that. I know we use generative AI with our Adobe Express integration with the images, and we absolutely love it. And so, it's really a cool thing to do. And then they can think about the video and what they've learned from generative AI, and how is it harmful? How is it helping society? So, a big thing about Book Creator, and I love this, is you can add text, you can record a message, you can also add video, and having kids respond to this. You can have kids drag and drop in this book, benefits and drawbacks. You can have them circle about AI's impact. And this is where I'm going to stop, I know Class Companion is huge into this, and probably the biggest part that drew me to Class Companion was this plagiarism, the copy and paste features. And it's a really good way that I started talking to my kids about AI. Tell us a little bit more about Class Companion, how they really help with that plagiarism, that copy and paste aspects of AI.
Yeah, well, Class Companion is an AI powered platform that allows teachers to give immediate feedback to their students, where students are doing the assignment inside of Class Companion, and they're able to get that immediate feedback. But what's really amazing is the response integrity feature, where students are able to showcase when they're copying, when it's copying, it'll have a little flag, or if there is the same response within the class, it'll pop up with the names of students who have the same response. And what we find with that is that we're not trying to catch students.
Yeah.
I think that's such an important conversation when we're talking about AI and we're talking about AI literacy, is that we're not trying to catch students. We're trying to have those meaningful conversations about how to ethically utilize AI when you're doing work in the classroom. And so, yeah, the response integrity feature is a huge one.
That is huge. And I think it's a great way to have those conversations. And like you said, and I think it's huge, is you're not trying to catch anyone. I've used AI with students as an instructional coach, and I would really lean on my teachers. It's not I caught you. It's a great conversation. Let's have the conversation, right? Let's not, ban the AI right from them. Let's not say, I got you. Let's have a conversation as to how we can use AI with integrity. And I think Class Companion does really great at that. And one thing I really like about Class Companion was, and I learned this from one of my students who was using Class Companion at that time, they had added their response. They had gotten feedback. And some people will just stop at the feedback. They'll just go, oh, that's the feedback. Okay, that's what I got. But what I really love about Class Companion, just like Book Creator, is it gives kids a voice. Because what that kid did is it didn't like the response and the feedback that Class Companion got. It thought, hey, I'm going to keep the student in the loop. And he replied back, and he was able to kind of rebuttal. But he was able to keep his voice in, and say, hey, I think I did this, this, and this, and please go back and look at it. And so the teacher was able to get that, hey, that student left a response. Maybe I need to go back and take that second look at it, keep the human in the loop. And I really like that feature that Class Companion has. So big kudos to y'all. But great conversations. Let's not just be out there to catch them. Let's really have the conversation so students can continue to use AI. Go ahead.
Yeah. And AI that is what AI literacy is. That is when you're able to determine when is it appropriate to utilize AI and when is it appropriate not to utilize AI. And that's another reason why, we'll get into this a little bit later, but why it's so important for teachers to be AI literate prior to doing it to their students as well.
100%. And I think, nowadays, it's 70-30. You got to keep the human in the loop. And I say this all the time when I start with using AI with our students. And I said, guys, let's keep the human in the loop, but let's kind of like have this tagline. We're going to keep the student in the loop. We're going to keep you in the loop. And I want y'all to use your noggin, because every single person in this room has an education and understands their topics, and your thoughts matter, and your background matters, and what matters. And that's so important with it when using AI, is that your voice matters. And so don't feel like AI has to like trump your thoughts, your thoughts process, your thoughts matter.
Yeah. I mean, and they need to know how they work, not just how they work, but how they're helpful and where they have those limits, because
Yeah.
AI does have limits as well.
Yeah. And I'm gonna stop right here because we got a question in the chat. And Mr. Swole, how can you encourage teachers to learn about AI? Many of them are very hesitant. I'll kind of weigh in on this, and Brittany, I'll let you also answer this question, because we love questions like this. We know it's something that's barriers that, for me, as an instructional coach, I had this same issue. And so what I would do is I would do maybe a lunch and learn. I would just do something just low stakes, but I would showcase how AI could make their teaching better, how they can make their lesson plans better, and be a thought partner, not just do it for them, be a thought partner. And I would ask them, what is that dream lesson that you've always wanted to create, but you've kind of struggled, and they come up with one. I'm like, let's use AI as a thought partner here. And oh man, they start going. And when they see the results, they're like, that's a yeehaw moment. I'm sold. But use things that they're already doing on their daily. Don't try to add more to the plate. Maybe talk about lessons they're already using. Maybe talk about how to, a lot of teachers want to get feedback on student writing. Class Companion is a great one to be able to do that. So, what I do is I really show them by example, and I really bring in things that they're struggling with, that's taking out a lot of time in their daily schedule. And I show them how AI can make it a little bit easier. Brittany, go ahead and chime in on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of teachers who are hesitant about AI are just simply not AI literate yet. They truly just don't understand what AI can do, where it fits into their day to day. And so really providing that high quality professional development on AI literacy is so important. When it comes down, teachers have to build their own AI literacy before they're preparing their students. And without that solid foundation, it is so easy for misinformation and misuse to really spread. So when teachers understand how it works, they can guide the students. And that's why, like, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but why we have a free AI literacy essentials course, with free professional learning opportunity designed to help teachers build their understanding of AI, because what we found is that teachers who are hesitant just don't understand it.
You don't know what you don't know. Isn't that what they say?
And like educators who complete that, they have like a certification which kind of validates that learning, but then it gives them the confidence to start using it on their own without it being a specific tool. So yeah.
I love that. And for me personally, this is how I got AI into my school district. And y'all already know, I'm out here in the sticks. All right. I worked with a rural district. And so what I did was I took my first semester and I introduced AI to my teachers only. What I wanted to do is I wanted to get them confident in using AI. I wanted to show them how to use AI to already just help with things that were already on their plate. I didn't add anything to their plate, and I just wanted to show them that. Then when I felt like they were confident, then I took the second semester and I started using AI with students. And so I had to really establish that confidence with my teachers before I got in with the students, because that's really what I wanted to do, is get my teachers on board, and then just a light load and gradually into the hands of students. So Class Companion was a big part of that transition. So I just love that. I actually did, an activity like this book, actually an advisory throughout the whole district. starting from 6th through 12th. And so that's how I started off with the students in that second semester, is doing an activity like this, an advisory where all the students went through this AI literacy. So that's also kind of what I did. So yeah, shout out to Lauren and Remy for helping answer those questions. I love that the questions are happening in the chat. If you guys have any other questions, holler at us, let us know, because we're in real time and I love seeing those suggestions. So y'all, that is the book. Go ahead. You guys can also remix this. You can have that where, it's really a great resource to use with students, maybe during an advisory. Maybe, you're doing it with your students if you don't have advisory, but it's right there, built there. You can change it, remix it, however you guys want. And the next thing that we're going to show you guys is how to now have this resource that Brittany's been talking about. She's been like, we're going to talk about this later. All right, now we're talking about it because we went and had a student resource, but we also thought it was so important to also have that teacher resource. So you're going to tell us all about it.
Yeah. So I really liked what I think it was Lauren said in the chat. And she's like, it cannot be something that teachers have to seek out and piecemeal on their own. And I couldn't agree with that more. Teachers don't need like this new class to cover AI literacy, but they can kind of integrate it into what they already teach. But it's so important to have something that's self-paced that they can do at their own leisure, because a lot of teachers, we don't have the time or the just don't have the time for that sort of thing. And so that's why Panorama created this free resource. It's an AI literacy essentials for K-12. So whether you're a kindergarten teacher or an 11th grade AP biology teacher, this is going to fit your needs because it's an overview of what AI literacy is and how you can start to incorporate it. And so I'm going to take you guys in. Once you see this in the chat, there's a link in the chat for this. Once you get here, you're going to put your information in and it's going to take you to a learner dashboard. And I'm going to take you in before you do this. You can kind of see what you'll be able to do. You'll be able to demonstrate foundational understanding of AI, which is so important. Reflect on opportunities and considerations for the use of AI tools. So this isn't like one of those where it's going to tell you this is the AI tool that you need to use. No, this is what's out there. This is what you can utilize. So it's very agnostic in that respect. And what I really like is the effective prompts section. So if you're brand new to using AI in the classroom, maybe you've got Gemini for Google or you've got ChatGPT, it's going to give you how to craft those effective prompts so that you can get really quality outputs. How to evaluate AI generated content. That is so important for us as teachers to know so that we can tell our students how to do that as well. They're going to be in classrooms and in jobs and careers that are going to be utilizing AI more than ever. I heard the saying that students who are in classes now are going to have jobs that don't even exist. They said that when I was in school and I didn't believe them. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. There are tons of jobs that never would have been able to have been without AI. And so it's only going to continue to change and we have to prepare our students there. And then how to apply responsible AI practices. Safeguarding student data, so very important. That is something that I think is not talked about enough when it comes to AI literacy for educators, and how to ensure that compliance with not only school and district policies, but promoting that ethical AI usage as well.
Yeah, and I think it's so great that y'all are creating this course not tool focused.
Right.
And it's just it's AI literacy focused, and that is huge. And I'm seeing in the chat that some people have already taken this course and they speak so highly of it. So thank you guys for taking this course and really being on top of that AI literacy. And if you guys haven't, we have dropped in a link in the chat. You will find this course on page number 12. So definitely take our resources on AI Literacy Week. Get that resource, get the link. You have the link for the teachers. You have a link for the student resource. But keep on going, Brittany. Keep bringing it. Keep bringing it. They're hungry for more.
You know, I want to showcase this part here because again, teachers who are unfamiliar with AI, it's scary. It's scary. They're like, I don't know what to do with it, that I'm really apprehensive. I don't know why we're bringing this in. But once they're educated, they can really start to grasp it. And the one part of this, the overview, mindset is in here. And so again, I think there was somebody in the comments earlier that was like, what do I do when there's you have hesitant teachers? Mine's a huge component of that. And so that we did enter that into this as to really bring those hesitant teachers to enlightenment, if you will.
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge because, and I'm glad you brought up that because, we have a lot of people that, not that they're against AI, not that they're against it. They don't know. And I think, the mindset is huge in getting people on board, but we also have to continue to show them how it's not in the future. It's not the tool of the future. It's in the now. And, I think, Holly Clark in her keynote, she often says, kids that are graduating, kids that are kindergartners now, they're graduating in such and such year, right? And we need to prepare them for when they're graduating high school. And I think that's huge is that, AI is here and we have to continue to really, I always say, like, I would always try to just get one teacher on board and then another and then another. And I would just take it one by one by one. But we talk about that mindset and really encouraging others, like it's not the wave of the future, it's the wave of now. But show them how you personally have used AI, practical ways you've used AI. And I think that also is so valuable. Is like, I've used AI like this for my own resources. I've used AI like this with students. And I always really pride myself on show them practical ways you're using AI and really get them, using this AI course, using the student resource that we gave them. So, I know that it's gearing up for a little bit. There's a special guest coming up pretty soon, next after us, and I'm really excited because just all this whole week is talking about AI, and I love seeing people continuously come into these sessions and into the chat, and I really encourage you guys to continue to ask the questions in the chat where you guys are getting those answers live. And so thank you guys so much for staying with us. I'm going to just kind of reiterate, you guys have the bit.ly in the chat, the AI Literacy Week resource. Make sure you guys sign up, sign in, and we're all about giving you guys those links, those resources that they're ready-made, they're ready to use for your teachers, they're ready to use for your students. And so we're super excited to see how you guys use them with your teachers and students. Brittany, you got anything else to add?
I don't have a whole lot more to add, but I would push anybody who's already dealing with AI, it's already got their hands dirty with it. I really push for teachers and students to focus on the ethical part of it. That AI as a partner is huge because it supports our creativity, it helps our problem solving. But I really want to drive home that this doesn't replace our human judgment when it comes to teachers giving feedback to students with AI, with Class Companion, or using whatever tools that they're using. We want it to always remain with the teacher being in the loop, the teacher being the one who's having these conversations with students about response integrity and looking back at that. And so teachers really prepare students to think critically about the role in technology in society. And so I just want to end with that part.
Mic drop. You heard it from Brittany. Keep the teacher in the loop, keep the you in the loop because you matter and AI is a great thought partner. But at the end of the day, your thought matters. So I absolutely love that. Thanks y'all for hanging out with us today. Hey Hotler, how you doing, man? Hey, where's you coming from?
AI Literacy Week. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Faubs.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. I know he's been in the background, y'all, because we're super excited also for our next guest.
That's right. We have the show must go on. Don't worry. There is plenty more to come. We have got a special guest backstage. They are preparing. But yesterday, Faubers, we said we were going to share this book, and then we completely ran out of time. I don't know if you tuned in yesterday, folks watching, but Alana Winnick and her students and Jennifer and Anne just completely crushed it. And we really wanted to share this book. It was mentioned in the Common Sense webinar, but I want to bring it up now, Faubs. I know that this book is near and dear to you, just simply because you've been working on this stuff for a while. This is how you communicate with students. You're trying to teach them that this is this outward facing portfolio of themselves.
100%. Yeah. Like, portfolios are so great for people, kids. And so this is and I love this portrait of an AI ready graduate because I'm just going to pinpoint on that storyteller part. In this age of AI, I hear it again and again and again, how in this age of AI, how storytelling is so important. And, I absolutely believe that every student has a story to tell. And so I'm really glad and excited that they included that in the AI ready graduate. So let's keep on going through this book.
Yeah, we will. And I want to point out too that these competencies are aligned with the ISTE portrait of an AI ready graduate. We built this out right after Richard Collada made this announcement. And of course, we're so excited to add to it as that is articulated. But essentially, Faubs, this is made to be given to students, right? It's So walk us through, like, if you give this to a student, what are you expecting them to do?
We're wanting kids, we're really wanting kids to see that, they can really use, Book Creator in a way to really express what they want to in the way that they want to. They can add, pictures, they can add Giphies, they can use their voice, they can use video, they can use text to really go through this and showcase, and so every aspect of that has a page. And I think it's just really important for kids to add to this page and everything. And, also like just this one, on the left-hand side, it tells what a researcher is, and just adding artifacts to this. But also I think, it's a great stepping stone from using what is AI book, and then maybe even kind of coming into this, student resource AI book. So I really love this, guys. You guys can remix this. You can give it to your students. And I think that's also just so valuable, is like, give these books to your students, remix them, create a library, maybe put in the What is AI book, and they go through that together as a class. Then you can also add this portrait of an AI ready graduate also in that same library where they've gone through one book into another, and they can take this with them as well. So remix this, have it, and it's aligned with the ISTE standards, and I think that's just absolutely huge. So I'm really glad you brought that up, because it's really, it's not the future. It's not the wave of the future. It's the wave of the now, and we need to prepare our students now, with AI literacy and knowing how to use AI as a thought partner. So I'm getting a lot of responses in the chat that they absolutely love this. We love that you love it. Use it with your students.
Yes.
Remix it, put it into a library. And
get the link from that bit.ly that they keep sharing.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll put it back up. There it is. Throw that bit.ly in, and it will bring you to a book. Remix that book. It has all of the resources from the entire week. We don't want people having to save links from here and there. Yeah. We put everything in one.
It's like there's a book for that.
It's like there's a book for that.
There's like a book for that.
Boom.
And
so it's there.
Yeah. So, Book Creator is just a great way to house everything. And so I love that this book, they're going to get this book as a resource. They don't have to save all these different links. And also, if you're not able to make one of the different webinars, you still get all the resources in that book, which I think is huge for y'all. So super excited about this week. It's, not only for teachers, but resources for students. I heard there was a great parent yesterday by some students. So super excited to have just this diversity this week, inviting everybody to the table, because we really feel that AI literacy is definitely something that every teacher and student needs to continue to bring to the table.
Love this. Wow.
Remy, I'm bringing in, hold on. Remy's like, I need a sticker for there's a book for that. That's there. Oh my gosh, friend. I see you, friend.
Hey.
Our special guest has arrived, y'all. It is Yaritza Villalba. Faubs, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I look forward to seeing y'all jam out. Good to see you, friend.
We're going to keep this show. We are going to keep this show rolling. I am so excited to be welcoming to the stage Yaritza Villalba, who is going to be sharing her perspective as a teacher, as a parent, as an ed tech specialist, just everything that you might be wondering or thinking or need to know about AI, with a focus and a lens, I think, a little on the family aspect, which is, I think, something that often can get missed, right? We know that teachers need this, we know that students need this, but Yaritza, I'm so happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and take it away.
Thank you, David. Hello, everyone. It's been a jam-packed week. I know you've been learning all about AI. I'm Yaritza Villalba. I am the CEO and founder of McKinsey's Adventures. We work with schools and tech companies around the world to ensure that not only are there equitable practices, but it's bite-sized information that you can literally walk away with and implement in your classroom. I am so serious about work that is student-centered, but also thinking about the whole child, right? So that means including the family as well.
Yes.
I'm excited. Are we ready? Because I think I'm ready.
Do you want us to share? Oh, there it is.
Yes. So, I mean, there wouldn't be a book creator presentation without the use of book creator. So this week I had to submit my presentation. I was like, hold up, I have to change things up and I have to use book creator because I also want you all to be able to walk away with these templates, remix them, change them up for your students and your families, and use them ASAP. So I'll go through my presentation. I'll share with you how I would approach these strategies, but also please use the chat to ask any questions. I'll pause in between. I know this is like 30 minutes. I'm from Hispanic, happy Hispanic Heritage Month, and I'm from Brooklyn, so I speak a bit fast. If you miss something, just let me know. David, I'm ready.
Get it.
Okay.
Show them how.
So I've already shared with you, guys, who I am, what I do. But in today's session, as I mentioned, I'm going to just give you all some bite-sized takeaways and templates that you can use as soon as tomorrow. Well, depending on where you are in the world today. We're also going to explore culturally responsive AI strategies. So I've hyperlinked a session that I've already done with some parents here in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm giving you the slide deck, right? But I'm also ready to just engage in realistic conversation about AI. I know there's been a lot of hype about it, and sometimes the way that it's presented it just confuses us. And so I'm here today to just say it doesn't have to be confusing. It doesn't have to be difficult. Just know that mostly everything that we use, AI is already a part of it. So it's all about just having a deeper understanding of how we can become creators and not consumers. I wanted to do a post chat. So please, in the chat, I want to know, have you had any conversations with students' families about AI literacy or its impact on learning? I'm going to scroll in because I want you all to see the choices. So please, in the chat, if you answer 1, that means yes, you've had meaningful discussions with students' families. If you answer 2, that means somewhat. It comes up casually or briefly. 3, not yet, but you're interested in starting. And 4, you haven't had the opportunity. Listen, even if 3 or 4 are your responses, no worries. Today, you're going to walk away knowing how to have those conversations. And as I mentioned, and I'm going to keep saying this is bite-sized, right? I don't know about you all, but anything that's bite-sized, especially appetizers, is my favorite, right? It's easy to consume. So I'm just going to check out what you all are.
They're coming in strong.
I see
Lots
1.5.
These fours. Yaritza, can I give you a tip? If you
Yeah.
go to the top right, click on the gear, and turn off side-by-side pages. This is helpful when you want your students to focus on just one page. Then you showed the Zoom feature, which is also an amazing way to do it. Okay,
I learned something new.
I like that people are being honest, and then
Yes.
this is like
So I see some 4s, I see some 2s, I see a 1.5. So you're in between yes and somewhat. I see 3s. And as I mentioned, it's okay if you haven't had the discussion, but I think we need to begin to be realistic about what is it that our families want. I've had so many different discussions with schools and school leaders about PTA meetings, right? And they're like, we've given out, tokens or trips, on ships. Yes, I've heard that before. We've done lotteries, and we still cannot get parents to come in and enjoy not only the PTA meetings, but have serious conversations about what's taking place in the classroom. And so before I share what I've done in the past, I just want to hone in on why it matters, right? Once again, our kids, our families, us, we're all exposed to AI, whether it's you on your phone watching a silly TikTok video or learning how to make tamales, or it can be something as simple as you scrolling on Instagram or you having a conversation with someone. And I know this has happened. You've had a conversation with someone about, new shoes, and then all of a sudden you open up an app and you have an ad there for shoes. It's happening, right? So we have to focus on how do we communicate the best use cases for leveraging AI. And for me, it's always about digital citizenship. It's about thinking about ethics and safety and how are we more inclusive throughout this session. And I know I think I only have like 20 minutes left. We're going to also discuss why it's important for us to show parents how to use AI at home. Right? Because in order for parents to really engage in what's happening in the classroom, they too have to become learners before they can become experts. And as educators, we have to stop making the assumption that parents know how to do certain things, right? COVID has shown us that we cannot keep making assumptions. So even with AI, yes, we are exposed to it, but AI literacy ensures that we all have an understanding, even if it's a basic understanding as to what's happening with technology, but also the fact that it's already embedded in our everyday use of technology and platforms.
Yes.
So if you followed me, you know that culturally responsive sustaining education is at the heart of what I do. In other words, in order for me to teach a student, a parent, or a teacher, I have to first know who you are as an individual. I have to know and respect your culture, your past experiences. And y'all, with AI, we have to keep culturally responsive teaching and education at the forefront. And the reason for it is because everyone is diverse, right? So there are some families and some students that might be exposed to AI or technology a lot more than others. And so as the educator, we have to meet parents and students and also our colleagues where they are. The first thing that I do when I go into schools to, present on AI, especially for families, is I ask, what is it that you do now? What is it that, you're doing at home or leveraging AI at home? And parents don't know that it's something as simple as a GPS, right? Or it can go deeper when you're asking Siri. Like I know for me, I have Siri, but I also have Google at home. And I'm always like, hey, Google, can you look up a recipe for, cookies? And my daughter does the same thing when she wants to watch Disney. And so just those small practical, ways that we're using AI and leveraging AI gives us a better understanding of, oh, it's here for sure. And so I'm not going to click on this slide deck, but you all will have this link. And I'm basically showing parents how to advocate for their children by using AI. And I know that sounds a little crazy, right? It's like, what? Advocating for students. But yes, for me, the best way that I can ensure that parents are actually getting the best out of every single PTA session is to show them that they can leverage AI by answering specific questions. And with this particular slide deck, it's about leveraging AI to understand Title I funding. How can I seriously advocate for my child and ask questions without feeling like someone is looking down on me for asking a question they assumed I knew the answer to? And so families are coming in. They know about Title I, but do they really know about how schools are utilizing those funds? Well, if that's a conversation you're wanting to have with your families, you can have them use something as simple as Copilot to ask those questions. And then we go into prompt engineering, right? Then we go into, oh, you may want to rephrase that question and you'll see a different output. And so it's still teaching all of the skills and strategies for them to become AI literate, but they're doing it aligned to what they most need, which at this point is for our families to become advocates for their kids. The next is, I wanted to give you all some fun activities that you can walk away with. So here are 7 activities, and I'm going to actually explain them a bit fast because I want to leave some time for questions. The first is AI vocabulary match. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Giving students and families an opportunity to do an AI in my life, right? That reflection of how am I currently using it? Designing an AI that helps everyone. That takes us back to culturally responsive teaching, but also the equity piece. If we're really serious about using and leveraging AI in schools and at home, we have to think about who has access and who does not have access. And the best way to do it is to have students have conversations around it. The next is a family AI discussion guide, a AI tool exploration, create your AI code of ethics, right? Some of you probably started that with your own schools, but what if you can teach parents how to do this at home with their own kids? And also the AI career exploration. I'm diving in because I'm watching my time is just like, so the first, a vocab match. You'll have this template. You can change it up. But what I've done is, of course, I utilized Book Creator for this entire thing. I thought about some vocabulary terms that were important for every student, every parent to first understand. Normally, when I go to professional developments around AI, the moment someone says a word, a vocabulary term that I don't understand, I'm quickly picking up my phone to look it up, and then I'm missing most of the next presentation, right? Because that's just what we do as humans, right? We're stuck on the fact that we don't really know how to make this connection with this word that we've never heard before. And so when we're dealing with our parents and our students, it's important that we keep things simple. You want buy-in. I'm not going to say some words that you're just going to be at loss with, but I'm going to give you the 9 essential vocabulary terms that I know for sure you're going to need to know when understanding what AI literacy is. And then with the use of Book Creator, I literally recorded my voice and gave some definitions so that students are able to now drag and drop, but also your parents are able to do this. So I'm just going to play this, David. And I know that my voice sometimes, I know for me, I'm just like, I don't like hearing myself speak. So here we go. A branch of AI that helps computers understand, interpret, and respond to human language. So why is this important? If you're using Book Creator, you can help with translation. I work with schools across 6 continents. So this will be so cool. And although the vocabulary is in English, when students are clicking on certain words, they are able to translate it, right? But with this activity, they're literally dragging and dropping. The next, AI in my life. Going right back to culturally responsive teaching, respecting who someone is as an individual. That also means understanding their experiences. And in order for me to understand your experience, I also need to know how you've been using AI, but giving you the opportunity to reflect on how you've been using it. So here are 4 questions that you can ask not only students, but families. So those of you who have PTAs, this is perfect for you to open up conversation about AI literacy. Something as simple as, do you think AI helps or hurts your learning experience, and why? It's best for us before we implement new tools to ask the people who are going to use those tools. And at this point, it's the students and the teachers, right? But if the teachers are the ones introducing the new tools, then it's, let me ask the students first, what are your thoughts, or what have you heard, especially via social media, on AI? Have you ever used a tool that gave you suggestions or completed something for you, right? That question normally gets parents excited, right? They normally like just open up their phones and begin to show me what they already have. And I'm so geeked up and I'm hyped up because I'm like, yes, this leads to the next question or the next conversation. If you could design your own AI tool, what would it do and who would it help? You're going to constantly hear me ask that question of who would it help? Because once again, equity. And where do you see AI used in home, school, or community, right? These are simple questions. If I wanted to put it in terms of depth of knowledge, these are level 1 through 4, right? Because we're asking just, where have you seen it? It's like a who, what, when question. But then we're also asking them to critically think about if they could design their own tool, what would it do and who would it help? Also aligned to the SDGs if you all want to take that conversation a bit further. The next, thank you. The next is giving them the opportunity to design an AI that helps everyone. So this is simple. They can either draw a picture. If you're going to use a book creator, remember, you also have it where students can use Adobe, right? They can design. You can have students design somewhere else and upload links directly here. But I wanted to make a further connection because remember at the beginning of the session, I said culturally responsive sustaining education is at the center. This activity is going to encourage students and families to consider the diverse needs and perspectives when designing technology. Something that we always ask. I know anytime I'm introduced to a new tool, especially an ed tech tool, or I'm being brought on as a consultant, I say, who is this created for? And who's being left out of this conversation?
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of questions that we need to ask our students so that they too understand it's not just one-sided. We need multiple perspectives, multiple experiences, and diverse needs to be shown here or illustrated here. It allows students to reflect on fairness. So if you're going to create a code of ethics, this might be one of like the fun activities that can go with the code of ethics. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to allow them to practice creative problem solving. You could even take it further. And if you don't want them to just stick to adding a picture, you can go on to like code.org and have them design an app for this AI tool, right? You can take it a step further, especially those of you whose school is focusing on project-based learning. The next, a family AI discussion guide. So here's 5 questions that I would ask or I would give to families so that they can go home, take them home, and ask about AI, and then write down their discussion takeaways. So like question 3, how can we make sure AI tools treat everyone fairly, no matter their background or identity, right? Going back to the code of ethics. Or question 4, if our family could invent an AI tool, there that goes again, right? What would it do and who would it help? So now you're asking the families to create together. All right. Or what do you think AI can do really well? And what should it never be allowed to do? Educators, I know right now that's the question that you wanted to hear, right? What should AI never be allowed to do? If this was a keynote, that would be the first question I ask. I think the crowd would go crazy, right, with discussion. Have you ever used an app that made decisions for you? How did it feel? Like, how did it feel for something else to complete your thought? What rules should we follow when using AI at home or school? Normally, when I have AI sessions, especially with families, I hone in on the importance of it is your buddy. It is not the end all be all. You should never trust that it is in fact doing everything the way that it's supposed to be done. You should be using this to critically comb through every single response that it has generated for you. And then as a history teacher, because I was a history teacher for 11 years, I always ask the question, can we prove that this is correct, right? Or can we trust this? And if the answer is no, then you, as the prompt engineer, should go back in and make changes. You should be reviewing as you're constantly putting out information. The AI tool exploration, for this in particular, especially with families, I've heard a lot of parents ask me about literacy, about reading and writing, right? And so we know Microsoft has Reading Coach. This is an AI tool that I love sharing with parents because guess what? It's free. It's free. So I would give something like a sentence stem, right? Where the parents are literally filling this out. So after they're using Reading Coach, then they can fill out this sentence stem. Using Reading Coach helped me or my child by, they fill it out. One thing I noticed about how AI responded was they fill it out and then they add some interesting findings. Guess what, educators? You could then be able to track how many books students are reading at home with their parents. You can use this for literacy competitions. You can use this to know what kind of vocabulary terms your students are stuck on, but also to engage in conversations with families about reading, right? A parent might say, hey, I gave Josiah, a text that was level 4, but he's struggling. These are the 5 words that they said that we need to work on at home. Is there a way for you to incorporate those words in your classroom as well? Building and sustaining community with families. Here we are at the AI Code of Ethics. I would say if you have an opportunity to have students do this in your class, I would have them do it in their class and then work with their parents or families at home and edit it for how this looks at home. You can always change the checklist, but I created the checklist based off of the 5 things that I believe every AI Code of Ethics should have, which it should have fairness in mind, privacy, transparency, right? We have to be realistic, safety, and respect, which are all of the 5 things we're asking students to keep in mind when they're surfing the web. When they're inputting information about themselves, we're normally saying, hey, do not put your address, do not put your first and last name, do not put the name of the school when we're asking things like Copilot or ChatGPT to help us with our work, right? So that takes us back to the privacy portion. For those of you who are constantly asking our kids about what they want to be when they grow up, or for the students who normally ask you, what do we need to know this for? This is it. This is the activity, right? Because I know as a classroom teacher, I would always have students ask, what do we learn this for? I'm not going to use this. This is your response. Let's research some AI careers or careers that are aligned to the skills you will learn while utilizing AI. You'll see that your students are not only having fun, but they're learning about their next steps. And you can use this in any grade, right? I know when I was growing up, I think I said that I just wanted to be a teacher. But if you ask me now, I might use the word innovative teacher or innovative expert, right? But the idea that now I can leverage AI and I know the skills that I need in order to be AI literate so that I could get any job by 2030. I believe I saved us, 5 minutes.
You are.
I saved about 5 minutes, but also at the end of this book, I'm reminding you about this awesome week. This is only the beginning of the week. We still have panel discussions. We have live shows at the end of the day. You have some author reads. Book Creator is giving you all a week of learning, but also a week of impact. These are all things that awesome people are sharing that you can implement as soon as, remember, today. I also am sharing a 3 months free premium for Brisk. Those of you using Brisk, use that link, get some premium access. David, I definitely want to see what's going on in the chat. So this is going to be my last slide. These are things that I would love for not only you, but families to think about when AI literacy comes into the conversation.
Well, let's zoom in on one of those. Let's pull one of those up. Let's push in on that for a second. Let you look at the chat.
Okay. I'll zoom in on this one.
Good. Okay. Yeah, very lively conversation going on in the chat, and would love folks, because we have a little extra time, would love for you to think about this question and throw something in the chat. Give us your perspective. Obviously, you can see we're sharing comments as they come in up on the screen. Yaritza, on complete, what am I trying to say? Everyone has said, loving the resources, a book that makes it so easy for you to, I guess, give homework to the parents a little like, if a teacher can so easily remix this and send it home and have the students not only engage with mom and dad about a conversation about AI, but also be using a tool that they're using in class, like Book Creator and the other tools that you mentioned, that is a really fantastic way of letting those kind of signaling to those parents, hey, these are conversations you should be having at home. And having these prompts here are just such a fantastic way. So how would you answer this question?
So how can AI reflect unfair assumptions? So whenever I have a realistic conversation, which that's every single day, especially with parents, I say you have to be mindful of what you're actually expecting from AI, right? It is important to understand that AI is just pulling from information that's already out on the web. And if you know anything about bias or biases or assumptions, that is what the web is based off of, right? It is someone else's perceived facts. Not everything on the web is facts. Some of it is opinions. There are opinions. And so I'm always asking the question of, is this true? And if it is, where else can I find it, right? And if a person is not able to answer that question, then I would say, until you're able to prove that it is a given fact, we have to engage in deeper conversation. So yes, there are some unfair assumptions, especially with AI. I know those of you who have been watching the news, we know there's so much happening around AI and our teenagers specifically, right? Where they're relying on this bot to answer life-changing questions. And so when we are introducing AI safe practices, especially to families who are worried, it is important to say, you cannot trust this 100%. But I'm going to show you the ways that we're going to use this in the classroom that are mostly aligned to our class work. I think that it's important to take away this hyper dependence on AI. Like I remember uploading a paper that I have written for my bachelor's degree, which was so many years ago. I'm not going to tell you guys how old I am, but I'm up there. And it just said that I copied everything. And I was like, we weren't even leveraging AI at that time. We were not leveraging AI in 2010, right? And so to think about not only the tools that are being used to say that students are cheating, but also the information that's already out there on the web, or the misinformation that our students are now leveraging and writing in papers or believing and creating these TikTok videos about. So how can I reflect unfair assumptions? One, I always ask myself, is this true? And if it is true, I should be able to find it somewhere else. Yeah. Or when AI gives you a response, ask it to find it for you. Where did you get this from? And you'll see that sometimes it apologizes and it says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm unable to find that source.
Yaritza, it is always so inspiring to hear you speak and to share your perspectives and just your ways of knowing. You just have such a unique view on the world, and you're so global and you're so interactive with so many different communities. To have you on with us and to share that perspective is just wonderful. Remy said it in the chat. It's just your passion is infectious. So I'm so sorry we only had 30 minutes for you, but you mentioned it a moment ago. We're actually going to have you back tomorrow for a full hour. You won't have as much airtime, but we are going to be sharing that space with some other incredible minds and having a deep dive discussion into really that question and many others that are on folks' minds. So excited to have you back and so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Everyone, thank you for joining me. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, folks. You heard it. Yaritza, Villalba, thank you so much for being here. Folks, if you are tuning into the recording or you just tuned in and you're wondering where to get all these amazing resources, you want to be able to remix these and use them with our students, you can get them all in that link that you see down there, bit.ly AI Lit Week resource. It's one book. It's got all of the stuff you want and need, so do not worry. It's all right there. But we will be back tonight with some live streams on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So check those out. We're live tonight, like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Hop on, check those out, or pick them up in the morning. Or otherwise, we will see you back here tomorrow for another round. We're kicking things off with We Will Write. Then we'll jump right into that AI panel with Yaritza, Ken Shelton, Alana, who we had on yesterday, and then Holly Clark, Matt Miller will be jumping in as well. So super, super excited to have them joining us, and more live streams to come. So stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time.